welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or messages. Come in! Come on! I've got intel. Recon is afoot. Yes, bestie, we are gathered here today in the sight of the Most High, Father God, Mother Isis, to gather all of those pretenemies, those frenemies, those fakeazoid friends together. Let's dive in, darling dears. But before we dive in, can we have a quick chat? But then again, who gonna check me, boo? Bestie needs to talk to you, okay? Okay, as we sip our mochas, cause we ain't getting smoked. My mocha is at crisis point. It's done. Oh, Shay! Shay! Sounds like I'm calling the spirits. No, I'm calling my favorite son. He's the only one, but shh, shh. Do tell him, bestie. Do tell him. Shay! Could you make me another coffee, please? Can you make me another coffee, please? Oh, and the chair's there as well. Everything's in the way. Yeah, I'll take this cup. Sorting out my domestics, all right? Because I got to keep lubricated, all right? But let's dive in, darling dears, because as I was saying, we needed to chat first, right? These ghosts of crisis past, darling dears, can't handle you walked away with no reaction. They wanted tongue wrestling, possibly even tussling in the dust, bestie. I know. Big cat, what you need to understand, when you sit at your don't get smoke central, because we all got one, bestie, you're in a class of your own. Why? You're not afraid to walk alone. Listen, you drop them like a dirty shirt. Never you ever forget whom you are. They are in regret, darling dears. They underestimated your gangster because it was of what? A certain je ne sais quoi. Yeah. Big cat walks away for different reasons. Abusive dynamics, darling dears. The toxic relationship struggle of that friendship that took your hairline and made your heart go boom diddy boom diddy boom. Some of these pretenemies, right, got you in a financial crisis. And what spiritually abused you, darling dears, without the Vaseline? They came with nothing but what? Chaos blood, chaos, and what? Emotional drainage blood. A drain to your membrane. Your crown chakra, darling dears. And you realized that you had to go on divergent paths. Theirs was back into the crevice of the devil's balls, and you towards the light. No, not like Carol Ann, darling dears. Carol Ann was dealing with duppies. You ain't dealing with no duppy blood. Listen, let me ring that bell. Hey. When you decided the divergent path, bestie, right, you was protecting your peace. What does that mean? You chose you, bestie. They saw you as what? A dummy bat, a cash cow, feeble-minded, easily swayed, darling dears. They hated the way, they hated your eyelashes. I told you this many times. Why? Because they're attached to you. By choosing you, reading energy, having faith in the unknown, which is wrapped up in that lovely bubble of what? Self-love, care, and worth, darling dears. Prioritizing and taking actions on your goals, ambitions, and dreams till the wheels fall off, darling dear. This is why they're in regret. They expected you to perish without them. Why? They thought they was what? They thought they was the nuclei of your life. Imagine that. They thought they was in charge of your blinking and breathing, darling dears. You heard the bell confirmation, darling dears. They, them, and these ghosts of crisis past. Let's dive in, darling dears. We're going to start with the dice. Have we got any moderators here? Let me just quickly check the chat. Yeah. Bernicia Mango, Wagwan, Chrissy Dupree, Big Cat Wave, Melissa Morel. Hi, glad you could pop in on your busy Big Cat day. We've got a batty crown here. You mean batty crown? Leader, J.A. all the way. Fist bump. And for all of you that are not Jamaican, you are now Jamaican. I have dubbed you to be so. Why? We're besties. All right. I love that. The batty crown. Anyway, moderators, please, because it's a live read, it can't be time stamped. So timestamp when I start with the dice. Then, oh, thank you very much, favorite son. Yeah, he's smirking. Old joke. Let's move the chair because it's so distracting. It's like I've got a crowd around me. But the reason why the chair's there is because I'm on my core ball, because I like to keep it tight and right, darling dears. Steady body is what? A stagnant body. You got to keep your energies flowing. Yeah, so when I do the dice, when I get to the cards, because people are not patient sometimes. They don't want me to talk, but guess what? Who gonna check me, boo? I likes to talk to the besties. And why did you come here? This is not communicative dance. It's not. I have to use me words wisely. Now the chair is distracting me. All right, got it. Okay. Yeah, they want me to do communicative dance to blood clot. Listen, I ain't got it in me, blood. I haven't. Let's dive in, darling dears, as we speak on these what? Pretenemies. We have a 3. What's the energy of a 3? I told you on the dice, darling dears, when we see a 3, it speaks about conflict, darling dear. Arguments, nerve-wracking period for some, darling dears. They're creating quarrels and discord. Yeah, these frenemies, they're arguing amongst themselves. They're what? They're what? Enemy in themselves, darling dears. Why? Because they did not anticipate your gangster. They didn't anticipate that you would what? Start moving like a gangster. And what? What is it? You think like a gangster and you move like a nun. Excuse me, mixed up the words. We had to get a bit of smoke in there because you know the frenemies are up in here, blood. They're up in here. They can't stop watching me. They are captivated, right? Watch, darling dears, watch. A master at work. Anyhow, let's carry on, darling dears. They want to argue and fight with you. Yes. Why? Because they feel it in your energy, in the way that you move silently. That something major is about to drop on you. Why? You learned mastery, darling dears. In your alone time, not lonely, alone time. You learn to what? Go for your knowledge, darling dears. Go and what? Check yourself at the gate of knowledge. Something which cannot be taken from you. Every ounce, every second you take on learning something new, darling dears, was what? A stab and a hiya to the spiritual warfare, the ping pong they've been sending at you, darling dears. All right, as I was saying, they're very confused, they're argumentative. If you should meet them on your travels, darling dears, use the Easter Island and Stevie Wonder. You see them, but you don't see them. If you're lucky enough, like me, I've always got a darkest glass. You don't even know where my eyes are, blood. Yeah, or in your chariot of righteousness, keep your head straight, blood. Look at the what? Tail lights in front of you. Not because you're avoiding them, darling. It's not because you're afraid. No, blood. Their energy is not the same as yours. This is why you had to create a halocene. That's when the salt levels, blood. You just had the live salts. They was trying to what? Put you under the dust, darling dears. Maybe even put Lyle on you so you'll melt away like you never existed, darling dears. They didn't like you. They didn't. The energy of the 3, darling dears, it also speaks about what? Groups. They didn't like how you are able to what? Or was able in their presence to authentically express yourself. They thought you was a fool, a dummy bat, feeble-minded, darling dears. But it was the compassion, the love. Why? Because you chose to volunteer to come back. Why? Because we are stepping into a brave new world, darling dears, with what? Pluto in Aquarius. Go and watch that read. You'll see how it will affect your sun, moon, and rising sign for the next 19 years. It's relevant, darling dears. When you come here, I give you the intel, but I also give you the tools to change your paradigm, darling dears. But it's only for those that have the ears to hear, the heart to realize that you are more than a conqueror. It doesn't matter what these ghosts of crisis past, these hairline takers that made your heart go boom diddy boom diddy boom. Don't matter what they're doing, blood. Because divine is what? Giving you the right group's energy of the 3, darling dears, where authenticism is what? The way to go. You are going to be meeting extraordinary people. Remember, I told you that. February, the beginning of our new life, darling dears. It's also what? The Chinese New Year, and it's the year of the dragon. I like to term it as the dragon cat, blood, because we ain't having it. No. And a dragon will outlive them all, blood. Remember I told you that you're doing your Benjamin or Benjamina buttons. The energy of the 3, let's carry on with that, darling dears. Your birthday could be the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th. It speaks about you what? You're going to be receiving some kind of rewards, darling dears. Rewards for your patience. Every solution will come to you in patience. You are an artist, darling dears. In the world, this Malkuth is your canvas. But guess what? The picture you are painting, have them what? At death's door, darling dears. On the rocks of life with the underestimation and the backstabbation. No, tabation. Why? They went for the white meat. If you and somebody break up friendship, even a family member, if me and you done bleed blood, if someone's got me mentioning their name, it's a lie. It's a lie. They can't even drag it out of my dead body. Why? I've forgotten you down to the memories, darling dears. I can't bear you no ill will, but you will not eat at my table. Matter of fact, I've got my Mariah Carey on. Who is this person? I don't know them. Anyhow, the energy of the 3 is ruled by Jupiter, darling dears, the planet of what? Expansion, darling dears. And you will surely be getting the expansion on the Pretenemies, because we wants to know what's going on. What's wrong with the feeble-minded, what dummy bats that are low-hanging fruit? Yeah, and tree stuff. Tree sloth to boot, darling. I'm a poet and didn't know it. Now we're rhyming. That means I'm going to get kind of mad up in here. And who go and check me boo? Right. Let's carry on, darling dears. As I was saying, 3 is ruled by Jupiter. It's also ruled by the aspect of the trine. A trine speaks about what these opportunities that you've created yourself with, what your natural God-given talent. How do you find your talent? It's on your birth natal chart, darling dears. Your North Node will tell you you're gangster. The path you are meant to be on. Your talents you will find in your 10th house, darling dears. The 2nd, the 6th, and the 10th house will show you how to get to the Skrilla. But you've got to pay attention. You'll be expressing yourself in a new community, darling dears. It's approaching. Why? Because you dropped their dead weight. You toe tag them bitches and they don't like it. They don't. The energy of the 3, darling dears, is something unexpected is about to happen, darling dears. Yes, they're still working their wickedness in the background. The unhappiness it's probably going to bring you, darling dears, is to realize that there's more people to be what? Shelled out and told to F off with love and light. 2 of these and 1 of those. They ain't all gone yet, darling dears. There's still some hanger-oners. They're Klingons, and this ain't Star Trek, blood. Yeah. Come on, Case. Give it to them raw. Okay, then. Listen. The energy of a 1 and a 2 is that someone, one of us cats, is about to get a visitation from an old friend, darling dears. They're coming through. They're coming through. You listen, this is sandalwood, right? To cleanse your anxiety, clean the room, darling dears. Fresh start and all of that. Don't let them cross your domicile. You got a chariot of righteousness, don't drive them nowhere, darling dears. Why? Their cursed energy will be amongst your shit. Remember I told you that. And remember, if you invite them into your own space, whatever that space is, you are giving them free will to what? Enjoy it and do as they wilt in your space. Remember I told you that. All right. And listen, this goes to those fence sitters, the ones that want to be friends with you. And what pretenemies? They got to go as well. Everybody out. Right. Let's carry on, darling dears. I put the 48 laws of power into the astrological houses. Okay, the energy of the third house, which is about communication. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. Law number 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. They're dependent on you, darling dears, because they are captivated, because they underestimated you and did all sorts of what fuckeries, blood, from the tutor to the rooter. Law number 15, crush your enemy decisively, darling dears. Crush them. This don't mean go after them, darling dears, but should they come with anything, you must use diplomacy with your words. Speaking the Queen's English so they can understand. We ain't having it, blood. We recognize your energy, and your energy must go back to the crevice of the devil's balls. Yeah. Also, darling dears, Law 21, play a sucker to catch a sucker. If you have that feeling that someone new that's coming to your hemisphere is not right, play stupid, play fool to catch wise, darling dears, if you've got that level of time. Law 41, avoid conflicts. We don't tongue wrestle, we do not tussle in the dust. From a distance, you don't know whom the chicken of the sea is. A full-on bird. Law number 42, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. I said shatter. Freudian slip, meant to come out, darling dears. They're principalities, right, that they've built up against you, darling dears. They will scatter. Strike the shepherd. The head what? Frenemy, the pretender. Yeah. The one who thought you could not live without them. Well, good golly and gosh, you living, you breathing, you look fabulous, gorgeous and lovely. I love it. I don't hate it. The energy of Jupiter, darling dears, is the letters, the number 3 represents C, L, and U. Jupiter represents C, G, L, S. So we've got some letters of the names, darling dears. Jupiter is a mutable fire energy, darling dears. Mutable fire, this is about you being versatile and adaptable. Why they was always changeable, darling dears. Yeah, they were fickle and they created chaos in your life. Baby, they did it on purpose. Until they couldn't do it anymore. All right. What else do we need to get from this before we move on swiftly? Yeah, how about this? Okay then, okay. The frequency for Jupiter, darling dears. Are you still listening? Are you still there? Right, give me a cat, because this is being dragged out, because we've got to get to the truth roof, and I cover all bases, right? Jupiter is the 852 frequency, darling dears. It's represented by what? Your third eye. The crystal is what? The blue lace agate. And if we're going to look in a time frame, Jupiter usually stays in a sign for about a year. So it's been about a year since you've been around them, or you're going to get this visitation within the next year, darling dears. And listen, be prepared. Don't let them catch you off guard. And you know, sometimes you can meet someone, buck up on this, what we say in Jamaica. You're going about your lovely, fabulous, gorgeous, lovely life, and this person jettisons into your life, darling dears. And you forgot that they are what? A tabber. Or they come up to you, sneak attack, darling dear, and you say it on you, and your mouth answers. Why? Because you're polite, darling dears. Why? Because you move like a nun. Yeah. Fist bump. Yeah. All of this and that, darling dears. But you think like a gangster. And a gangster is what? Like what Boosie Badass said. We trust no one. No one. Not granny, grandpapa, mother. No. Because people can change. And just because they've changed their energy doesn't mean you have to put up with it. You have free will, and you are not a tree. You're a cat that has 9 lives. Let's get... Oh, that's a spiritual belch, because I speaks the truth. Roof. Pinkies up. Base of the deck, darling dears. Initiation. Some kind of contract was signed, darling dears. Split the deck. But it's over now, darling. It's over now. Yes. The past is the past. Dead as a dodo, darling dears. You cut that soul contract with them. Your ancestors are saying, best move you ever made. This is why they are in disbelief. This is why they regret it, darling dears. They expected you to what? Be like a flat tire on the rocks of life, darling dears. They did. They, them, and They've been communicating about you. Third house, right? Gemini energy. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, darling dears. Mercury can be manipulative, especially when you have intel about somebody's what? Intimate moments, darling dears. They've been living with that. Yeah, living on it, darling dears. And it's been straight to the ears of a feeble-minded. Yeah, but they can't break what divine has gifted you. The whole of what? The spiritual armor, Ephesians 6:13, darling dears. These people are what? Luke 22:62. They're crying, darling dears, because you are stable. If you have progeny, they're happy. Can you not see the phoenix from the fire as your Big Cat Chronicles continues? Them don't like it. Oh, well. Now it's got me on my 31 teeth. Baby! You know how my 31 teeth make me furious if I have to suck them. Good God. What's this? They're going down, Bobby Brown, darling dears. This is representative of what? Pentacale. So it speaks about what? Low self-esteem. Yes, baby. Codependent. Yeah. Brock Pocketers. Body. Have you got a dime? Who's that? Luke 10. Yes! Give it to them, blood. Give it to them. Who's that? GP3. Yeah, give it to them. Send it to them. Right? But not send it to them in a way that you want to cause harm. Why? Because karma is not discriminatory, darling dears. You give the energy to the Most High. Let them beef with God, blood. Let them beef with God. It's not your fight. It's not your assignment. Bad health, darling dears. Destabilized mentality. No one to trust. Do we have time for petty? Where's Jezebel? Here is Jez. And here is Bell. Your ancestors are, listen, your ancestors are having a flipping laugh, mate. A belly laugh. Them have no pentacale. No pentacale. None. Not a bean. Their mind is a cesspit, darling dears. What did I say? Second guessing. They've got many attachments on them. Spiritual attachments. Just like that gal. What's her name? Krishan Rockblood. Listen. She's not even a friend to herself, blood. Oh my God. It's like the girl smoking dick, darling dears, and drinking mad puss piss. I can't believe it. Did you see the size of the tattoo on her face in the darkest, blackest ink? Did you see the next tattoo she's put on her posterior in the darkest, blackest ink? Shepherd of the devil. This is a shit show. It's like when you see a baby. You know you don't want your toddler to fall over. And when they fall over in slow motion and they fall just out of reach of your finger and scratch their face. This is outrageous, blood. And like I said in the reading, Krishan, whether she knew or not, when she stole his car and wrote in blood, I love you, blue, right? Right? And the emotion and everything that was around it, she created a blood soul tie, darling dears. But you cannot trap free will. This is why her life is like this. And it's the mental health. The fact that she's moved into his house, darling dears. The fact that he put the baby's genitalia onto the whole world. I know I said I weren't going to talk about them. I tried, bestie. I tried, but it was like what? Video crack. It was. First, my son bought it to me, and then I did wrong things, darling dears. I researched on my own timeline. Who told me to do fucking that, blood? I've been hit up every minute. I can't take it. I wants to be out of that group chat. She needs to go to Africa to find a real shaman to release her soul from what she's tied to. And she's cussing out she lost was it 200,000 or 300,000 subscribers the minute she went live with that face tattoo. Listen, it's got me on my 31 teeth again. Jezebel, listen. Oh my God. Like I said, there's no security where they are, darling dears. Financially, this also speaks about what? Karmic debt. Pentacles in the reverse is karmic debt. There's no growth. There's health issues, darling dears. There is no... Who can they run to? Come through, Jones girls. Blood posh, clap. They don't know who to run to because they can't trust no one around them. Why? They are in like-minded company, darling dears. Their household is on its face, darling dears. It's a mud hut. They are getting what? The education from a distance, darling dears, watching you build. Be happy, create a stable environment for yourself, and at peace. That big P we like to bandy around. Base of the deck, darling dears. The secrets they told, things you told, darling dears. And this Pretenemy could have been anyone to you. A family member, a co-worker, a neighbor. Oh yes, they got the garden fence in front of their face. But remember, darling dears, when people sit down talking about you and adding to the pot, darling dears, it's because they've got nothing of consequence going on in their life. And not only that, they know that you are not beefing with them, but yet they still talk at your things. Why? Because it gives them attention, darling dears. No one's checking for them, boo. If they didn't have someone else's tale to tell, darling dears, and they're telling tall ones, well, guess what? Your ancestors are listening. They're listening, blood. And your ancestors like to what? Go and visit them at night time at the 3 a.m. Wake up, dummy bat. We've got so much more to show you. Get to your internet. Go and watch Big Cat as they what? Live their best life in your face. They told everything, blood. Everything. And added shit, darling dears. What's underneath the secrets? Listen, they better respect the throne, dog. Yeah, they need to respect the throne. RESPECT. Five candles. 5 speaks about what? Change from conflict and confusion, darling dears. You had even a friend, a frenemy, darling dears. And when you've got rid of them, we do not re-friend, re-co-worker, re-family. No blood. Don't allow them to repaint another picture for you, darling dears. It will have you screaming into the night. And I'll be right here to say, well, I did tell you, bestie. I did, many times. And I wasn't tired. Yeah, I'll be right here. And don't get Smoke Central. These feeble-minded ones, darling dears, they thought if they went to people that gave them attention, that it would somehow affect your mental health. You're not hearing what they're saying. Affect your stability, your coinage, darling dears. Affect your health when you can't hear none of these. It's affecting them. And your ancestors like to ride out at nighttime, darling dears. And they like to stir the pot. When they fucked with you, they didn't know your spiritual ranking. Why do you think you had such a hard journey? This is why I told you, we've already said to them, we humbly went before Father Godmother Isis and said, take us off the strongest soldier list from 2024 and for air. Please let us reap the benefits of our strength. Ooh, child. They told everything, darling dears. Their face is a garden fence. Trying to what? Kick over your cup of self-love, right? This cup is a cup of abundance, darling dears. You've got the Ace of Pentacles and the cups, darling dears. Your emotions, friendship. You are stable, darling dears. And it also speaks about you had to be the change. The change would never have come. They always wanted you around to feel less than them. You was meant to be the scapegoat. Yeah, forever. Out there telling secrets, but they ain't telling nobody nothing what they did. I just heard the seagull outside. I don't often hear them, but when I do, their mouths will be shut, darling dears. Birds are what? They are angels, darling dears. They send you messages. Messages. Pay attention. Right. Let's get some, because they're green with envy, darling dears. Regret knows their address. Let that budger just stay around the house. We regret nothing. Balls to the wall, darling dears. Balls to the wall. They're not a loss. Not every loss in your life is a loss, blood. Some is a godsend. Redirection is protection. Fell out. What's this? Nurse with a purse. Didn't I tell you there was Brock Pocket? Brock Pocket's body. Have you got a dime? Yeah. And they're doing mirror magic. What did I say, bestie? Didn't I tell you many, many times? Mirrors are portals. Black obsidian crystal or black tourmaline next to a mirror, especially if it's in your boudoir. So many emotions as well as dinge is is trapped in mirrors, darling dears. Why do you think they use them as portals? Pay attention. Have you ever done that trick where you can put say a piece of card in front of the mirror and hide it behind the card? If you stand in front of the mirror, you can't see what's behind the card. But if you stand next to the mirror, you can see what's behind the card. How the fuck can they see that? Why? Because it's a portal. Listen, I know I'm using the F-bomb a lot, but listen, they bring it out in me, darling dears, right? You're too busy minding your own business, right? The CEO, you're active, right? On the go, darling dears, employed. You've got big fish to fry, why? Because you're a big cat and you know what frying means, darling dears. Focusing on your own dreams, goals, and ambitions, right? What's this say? You're unavailable. You better make sure that you are unavailable, darling dears. Protect your energies. These spiritual attacks are real, but knowing thyself is even more real than that, darling dears. You cannot, at this stage of the game, in the age of Aquarius, be going la-di-da-di-da. Oh, this looks like he's going to be a nice friend when it's the devil's most diligent worker. No, blood. When I meet people in the flesh, darling dears, my third eye is all up and on that bitch. Are you kidding me? And it goes for children as well. Because I've got a story to tell you something. Listen, I'm not going to tell you today because we've been here a long time. We need to get on this read, but I'm going to tell you about this. I've got to finish decompressing about this. Oh my God. Bestie, it had me out my house in my hoodie, my furry slippers, and a bandana. And you know when Bestie puts on the bandana, everybody's getting it. Call who you want, right? I had to gather a whole bushel of people together, but I can't talk about this now. I just want to get on with, not get away from it, darling dears. One thing at a time, yeah? Base of the deck. Yeah, you have to break up that shiznai, darling dears. You have to break up with them. Break up with being broke. Break up with being what? Gossiped about. Break up with being betrayed. Yes, yes. Break up with what? The spiritual drainage of it all, darling dears. It was not good for your hairline. They wanted you to live with a reverse friar tucked for air. This card just fell off. What's this? Divine is dealing with them. Listen, God, you need to know this. This is not your fight. It's not your battle, darling dears. I put a mantra up on the community board. Read that shiznai, darling dears. And the best day we've got is Friday. Today's Friday, Venus Friday. Jettison into your spiritual bath, darling dears. Psalms 91, Psalms 51. Proverbs 31:10. Isaiah 54:17, darling dears. And what? Isaiah 48:22, just to warm up the waters, darling dears. But if you're getting into a spiritual bath, your body has to be clean before you don't go in and scrub out your crevices after you've just spoken to. Nah, black. Have some deportment about you, darling dears. Separate things for separate things. But I'm not telling you off, bestie. I've told you many times, don't judge me. I'm a pointer, not a picker. Right. They've been chatting your secrets, have they? These feeble-minded dummy bats. And they want to come visit you? Well, Timothy 3:6 says, no, let no one spinneth the blocketh. Well, it may not say those exact words, but that's my interpretation of those words. No, I'm not upset with you, bestie. Donnie Renee, Beverly Hewitt, glad you could pop in. Slim Jim, what go on, Slim? Are you good? Got my eye on everyone, darling dears. Checking out everything. What do we need to know? Listen, the injustices of it all. And remember, the justice card is the karma. The disproportionately amount of karma I kill out them kwati. This is why you will be getting a visitation from someone from crisis past. Karma of them. Yes! Because of the spiritual attacks they sent your way, darling. There's one is spirit, it's also spell work. When we see the Ace of Wands on its face, bestie, lean in. It's about what? Delays, darling dears. They were brutal with it. They wanted to delay your next action. They even wanted to delay your breath, darling dears. They wanted you to be a deep breather for air, darling dears. Hold the breath and that's it. They sent a lot of spiritual attacks, which was not deserved. No spiritual attack is deserved, darling dears. And if you're wasting your energy on that, you better wait for the karma to come and get you, right? What did I say? The mirror magic. All right. They've been sending a lot of attacks at you, darling dears. Why? Because they want you to be trapped, darling dears. They see how fast you are moving. It looks like you, when you look at your situation, you think, oh my God, I'm the strongest soldier and I'm still taking it one day at a time, sweet Jesus. Yes, you're taking it one day at a time. But from the outer reaches, darling dears, you are what? Moving forward, darling dears. They didn't know that you didn't know what the fuck you was doing, but you did it anyway. They didn't know that you were scared to be on your own, but you left anyway. They didn't know that you'd realize there's a wide world out there. Knight of Wands means moving towards your goals, your dreams, and your ambitions. And the watching watchers are watching. The earth energy is what? Oh, come on, Case. This can't be the time for that. Earth plus Saturn. I told you, whenever I'm learning something, right, and I finally get it, I finally got it, good God, I finally got it, I go like this, and it is in my memory forever. So if I'm stumbling over my words and I want to remember, this is what I do. Everybody you have to have something, darling dears. Some people chew chewing gum when they're learning profound things. Whatever you've got, use every weapon, darling dears. These are tools. You are galloping ahead. Is that your chariot of righteousness? Look, good blood. It speaks about you going towards your passions, your dreams, your goals. And it's also the message coming through, darling, is the message where you've got to treat like Easter Island, 2 of these, and 1 of those, Stevie Wonder. They're watching you, darling dears. They are watching you. They didn't think you'd break up and find yourself, what's it say? Active, on the go, with fish to fry, unavailable, darling. They didn't expect that. Not from you, bestie. They saw you as feeble-minded dummy bat. Remember I told you that? Listen, let that bad juju. Stay with them. This bell's doing overtime, blood. It's going to be asking me for a raise. Good child. The injustice is of it all, darling dears. Yeah, they think you've forgotten all of the things that they did. This person that you're going to see from the crisis past, they're going to think that you're going to be all easy breezy because enough time has passed. Base of the deck. Listen, you better nip that shit in the bud. Knight of Swords is also you don't want the message from them because I told you they've got karma on their back, and I kill out them quati. They're on the rocks of life, darling dears, because they didn't know what a friend was until you left. 8 of Swords, right? Look, 8 of Swords in the reverse, darling dears. You don't know, you take a risk. Oh, you're tied up, you're in your mind, right? This is 8 of Swords in the upright, darling dears. They know clearly that their actions brought this reaction out in you. Yeah, what they wanted to win against you, as no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Pinkies up. Yeah, they didn't win. They're not victorious where they are, darling dears. Yes, and they are distracting themselves, darling dears. They're amongst many, and they're amongst what? Like-minded people, darling dears. On the same going nowhere hamster wheel, darling dears. Living that same drudgerous life. We saw no pentacales. It's not stable. And it's the worst position to be in when you cannot even be a friend to you. They're not even a friend to themselves. You may even have got into a fist fight with one of them, darling dears. 2 of Wands. And that was it for you, darling dears. They only had to hit you one time. Just like what Tina Turner's friend? Was it Mary? When Ike decided to smack her because it was like, eat the cake, anime. No blood. Base of the deck, darling dears. Wrong choice. Knight of Swords. And this person is personal people that you was actually the ones that are your biggest antagonists, darling dears. As I said, they still speak about you, 3 of Wands, but they're speaking in company that have nothing good. going on. Their whole life is a disappointment. I don't lie. The cards don't lie. These bitches and mitches do. Their whole life is a lie. Something quickly coming in, darling dears. The fastest knight in the deck is the Knight of Swords, and that was on its forehead. The next fastest one is the Knight of Wands. Yeah, something that's going to what? Ease your mind. Okay, what is it? Right? Oh my God! Good God! Should I show you? Should I show you? You're stable, darling dears. But you also have what? Emotional maturity. You've been working on your emotions. Could be counseling, darling dears. But this change that you've made of yourself from the inside out, this is what is creating the stability. Some of you have a new home, a new job. You could be an entrepreneur. You may even be online, darling dears. Maybe, okay. You're online, darling dears. You're online and they have easy access to you. World card. This is what's causing all of the issues, the regret, darling dears. They didn't know that your gangster was just like that. Hey! Secure, darling dears. It also speaks about your mental energy, your good blood. Yeah, you know what's toxic and not for you. Yeah. Told you, major gossiping, darling dears. Jealousy, envy, and hate being directed at you because you chose you, because you put your self-love, care, and worth first, because you realize that not everyone that presents as a friend is a friend. That is the first step to knowing thyself. Remember, I told you that. People that lacked in vision, they ain't got no vision. They're not even being creative with all of this nastiness they're chucking your way, but yet they want to come and visit you, darling dears, to make amends. You listen. You better not have any. You better not have any F's to give, darling. I'm not threatening you. If you tell on me, I will deny it. I will do a shaggy. You ain't got none to give, says God. God said. No me, bestie. God said. Right, big cat. You ain't got none to give. Why? Because the Hierophant, second house, it's about your income. You are doing things, right, that they never imagined you could do. They want you to be involved again with the crisis past. 111 in the chat. 111 speaks about what? Manifestation mode, darling dears. You're creative. And remember, your thoughts, and it's a reminder, your thoughts are creating your reality. Have no thought for them, darling dears. If you have a thought about these people, you must pay it dust, because you will manifest it. Because one thought leads to another. Then you rip the band-aid off of wounds that you've already faced and healed from. This is not the time, darling dears. Yeah. They are unhealed and they have no spiritual covering, darling dears. And the fact that they weren't what? They weren't smart enough to realize that you had spiritual ranking. Bestie, Divine wants you to know that you've had many miracles in your life, but you didn't see them as miracles. You start writing down, right? Every time your life took a step up, what was surrounding you was when you least expected it, darling dears. When you was chasing goals and dreams, and you didn't expect it to turn out the way it did. It may not have come at the time you wanted. Remember, everything is in God's time. You need to write down your accolades. You have achieved so much. You're gonna get to my eye chakras. Listen, if you lot make me cry today, right? I don't know, mate. Now it's got me on my sucking my teeth again. My edges, oh my God. Now my heart is, I'm sweating, bestie. I'm sweating. Look, still 111 in the chat, manifestation mode. Create the reality that you want. The Hierophant is represented by the second house, darling dears. Lean in, bestie. The second house is Taurus energy. We currently have Jupiter. Is it Jupiter that's in Taurus? No, Uranus in Taurus, darling dears. But anyway, go ahead, right? This is about your possessions, darling dears, your resources, your income level. You have financial security. You have. But you are not understanding. If you're looking at it from the lens of other people, right? You'll feel like you've got nothing. You have a roof over your head, a bed to sleep on, darling dears. You have peace. You have the space to create whatever you want. You have self-worth, darling dears. And this is someone from the past, crisis past, that wants to what? Capitalize on what you've built for yourself. They don't understand your energy when your energy is not of this world. You are in this world as a volunteer. This is why they're so mad. This is why King of Swords in the reverse. Any toxic thing they can say about you, they said it, darling dears. You've been called everything but a child of God. You must know this. And this is what I tried to let you understand as we go on our spiritual journey, as we keep awakening, because we are what? The lotus flower. We are a lotus cat, darling dears. We was able to what? Manifest in the dirtiest, murkiest of waters. Those nasty places where what? The crevice of the devil's balls was. You was a dummy bat just like I was for half of 100. Well, maybe not as long as me, maybe even longer. But the point is, you know now. And now is all we have, the present. That's why it's a gift. This is why God said, touch not my anointed. They did not understand your spiritual ranking. Well, they know it now. They know. Okay. Let's see what else comes out. And then we got to get great, darling dears. We're nearly at 60 minutes. Bestie, you got to be keeping reminding me about the time. Because I told you, I have full days of minding my own business. I have to get back to minding my own business because I've got, oh, you thought I was going to tell you my next move. No, blood. I was just seeing if you was listening. Give me a cat. 121 in the chat. That goes to a 4. You have foundation. You are creating security for yourself. The energy of the 4 is what? Structure and manifestation mode. We saw the energy of 111. Remember I told you that. It's now 117, darling dears. What's that? Number 9. Because you ended these cycles. The 9 is also what? Coming with universal love. You are being blessed. The 9 is ruled by what? Mars energy. You are thinking like a gangster and moving like a nun. We don't take any prisoners. We kick ass spiritually, figuratively, right? And take names. Actually, why? Because you must never, ever forget that bastardo's name. You don't carry that burden of pain, hate, shame. Let them tell who they want to tell, what they want to tell, why? Because God is listening. And no weapon formed against you is going to prosper. Outrageous. You're too busy. Busy, blood. What does busy say? You're too busy, right? Frying the fish because you're a big cat. Yeah. Employed with whatever you want, darling dears. Why? Because we saw the Hierophant energy. You are getting the blessings. This is why you need to write that shiznai down. You think God hasn't been here. God has been with you all the time. Never left you, darling dears. Why? Because you volunteered. Bloody take off. Listen, not suck it. Listen, don't suck your teeth, case. Sip the mocha. Because we ain't getting smoked. No. Leave them in what they've created, darling dears. What's that? The wiki dubplate remix of regret and karma. And remember, when you see them, and you will get this visitation. Why? Because we are always tested to see if we're gonna backslide, do the electric slide into what was. Hey, you better get tricks up in this bitch. Yeah, get busy with it, get jiggy with it, darling dears. Because why? Divine is dealing with them. What did I say? Because in the upright, this is solo dolo, like the boys or girls on the pole. They took it to many people, darling dears. But you see, the thing is, every time they retell and add more to this telling of trying to bring you down, drag you down, sending all of these spiritual attacks, it's affecting them even more. They're looking older than their age. Yeah. Young-faced old hoe or old-faced young hoe. Yeah. They're looking older than their age. Their money's not right. The mental health's not right. And the people that they're telling don't care. They're a horde, a crowd who's got what? Bad things going on in their own life. It's just a distraction. They should have shut up Four of Pentacles. They should have shut up. They should shut up. Allow you. Leave your name out of their mouth. Why? Because God's listening. And everything they try to do, darling dears, is getting what? The spiritual love tap, darling dears. Your ranking. Be proud of yourself, darling dears. Be proud. There is no one on this Malkuth like you. You are unique. Not even your progeny are exact. Once you are gone forever, darling dears. So this is why Divine is telling you about the in-between. It's about the... You see, when they put it on your gravestone, they put the date you was born and the date you died. But the dash in the middle, the in-between. Because they want a share of your pie, darling dears. They think you're being a meanie. That you must come back and get it without the Vaseline. Good God. They thought, look, this is what you'll be coming back to. Fucking these blood, the same low vibing shit that's going to take you on that shit show. Where's that? Straight for the spiritual bus, right? You'll get a big ticket. You'll go back into confusion, arguments. They just want fresh knowledge so they can gossip about you. Yeah, because at this moment in time, because you are silent, like the Emperor don't tell everybody their business. You worked on you. Some of you are entrepreneurs, got promotions. You're doing great things, creating a stable foundation, darling dears. They want to come through, darling. You better put your third eye on them bitches and mitches, right? Because they come with the bad luck, the bad vibes, the bad credit, the bad intention, and they're a Jezebel spirit. Revelations 2:20. You don't want no succubi or incubi up in your shiznai, darling dears. It's a distraction you can't afford. And they be coming through lying, darling dears. Lying and spying. And not necessarily in that order. And remember, a fool's lips will always invite a beating. One final card, and we gotta get out of here because I'm busy. I told you. Yeah. Don't go back. These people have no spiritual protection, darling dears. They're not wise. They're still repeating the same thing. Some of them are old enough to know better, but they haven't learned anything. Nothing new is opening up for them, darling dears. Why would you go back into the box they created when Divine gave you the whole of this Malkuth? But you had to what? Go within, darling dears. Know thyself. There's nothing new to learn here. Why would you go back to a fishbowl when Divine has gifted you the whole ocean of knowledge? Why would you want to go back to people that's what? Got spiritual attachments on them, darling dears, that wish the worst in you, was happy when you was down, darling dears. This is what they was dining out on. 132 in the chat, darling dears, that goes to a 6. You want harmony in your life. Harmony and peace. And what? 6 is ruled by Venus. This is Venus. Listen, we can't make this up, darling dears. Venus Friday, darling dears. Have your spiritual bath. Roll up, roll up, roll up. How about that? Leave the wicked to the wickedness, right? Wash your face like David. It didn't matter what they said behind your back. Divine put them behind your back because somebody had to watch your metaphoric rise. It didn't matter what they say, darling dears. You always come with a new plan. Why? Because you're not looking back. You're going forward, in the words of Abraham Lincoln. David, is that you? Long time no see. Glad you could pop in. Who's that? Beatrice, what go on, B? Big Cat B is here in the house. We've got Sky 102. Glad to see you, darling dears. Millie Della Prida. What's going on? Big Cat Wave. Robin Dennis, miss you, miss everybody. But I'm so busy giving you the intel that I didn't have time to look up. I've got AMIA 327. Who else is here? Shabnam Sharma. Hello, Shabnam Sharma. Are you being rude? Your comment has been deleted by Slim Jim. Listen, Big Cat and the Pretenemies. When you come here, I'm not alone, blood. And I don't just talk, I will cuss out your blood clot, but I haven't got the time. This is why my moderator's here, because they help my heart not go boom diddy boom, and because you want to interrupt the message. But that's what happens with these demon people. When I'm giving you the true, who turns up? The devil's most diligent workers, and they want to turn up on you. But bestie, remember, we are in the age of Aquarius, and what you allow with Pluto in Aquarius. Yes, it will jump back into Capricorn between September and November for a little bit, darling dears. And Capricorn rules people in high places. Pluto's going back to Capricorn, right, to bring down more of that 1%, the elite, and anyone who has not been paying attention when Pluto went into Aquarius. You're gonna be in that energy for the next 90. Let them be in that for the 19 years. While you run free. Let the wind blow through your lace front. Continue to add to your pot of knowledge, darling dears. Love who loves you. Remember, your energy is not for the feeble-minded, and once gone, it will be forever missed. On that note, I drops me mic 136 in the chat. That's a what? Hole 10, darling dear. For what end of cycle? Renewal is a football, darling dears. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again. Malibu, I see you. Cat. No marauders. We kick ass, proverbially, and take names. Go for your natal chart. And if they've been removed, they have removed for a reason, darling dear. We don't deal with branch people. We're looking for roots like us. Fist bump.